Hi, I'm Craig Perrin, the current steward of the Daisy Lynch House in Hillsborough, North Carolina. This house, formerly the residence of the descendants of colonial-era silversmith Lemuel Lynch, has a long connection to the Burwell School and is tied to Hillsborough's history in some very interesting ways. Historic Hillsborough is a haven for artists and writers in North Carolina. Many historic houses here tell great stories about colonial revolutionaries, Tories and Masons, Confederate widows, and other ghosts from the past. But the Daisy Lynch House on Orange Street is the only one to have swallowed up an entire schoolhouse so that it was lost to history. The Burwell School was one of the earliest schools in North Carolina, which provided a scholarly education for young women. The school was established by Margaret Anna Burwell and Reverend Robert Burwell in 1837 and operated until 1857. Young women were educated using a rigorous academic curriculum. Some students came from faraway places and boarded at the school, while others were day students from Hillsborough. Today, the Burwell School Historic Site is operated as a museum that informs the public about the education of young women and life in the 19th century. In this short video, we're going to take a few minutes to show you the house and to show you the detective work that went into finding this house's connection to the Burwell School only 1 block away. Let's begin our tour in the ancient core of the old house. So we begin the tour here in the center of the house, the ancient core of the old Daisy Lynch House. It was built in the 1850s in a primitive style house with 2 rooms and a hallway in the middle. Now in here, this part of the ancient core of the house, we see the old heart pine floorboards and the hand split lathe behind the walls, both indicators of this being a very old building style. When we look at the house from the outside, we can even see the ancient gables that made up the old roof about halfway up on either side. What a strange place to put a roof, right? When we bought the house in 2004, the only document we had that told of this house's connection to the Burwell School was a local inventory from 1996 that claimed the western addition to the house might be the female schoolhouse from the Burwell School built in 1840. Since there was nothing other than local lore to connect the house to the Burwell School, I decided to investigate deeper and review the files at the school. I spent a day going through old files until I found the docent's notes and the original bill of materials for the female schoolhouse at the Burwell School. The files told the story of a schoolhouse built by carpenter George Fawcett in 1840 for a fee of $450 paid by town leaders James Webb, J.W. Norwood, and 13 others from the local Presbyterian community, including John Kirkland of Ayr Mount and Edmund Strudwick, first president of the North Carolina Medical Society. The bill of materials gave the dimensions of the building as 36 feet by 20 to be covered by heart pine shingles with 6 double-sash windows of 18 lights each light being 12 inches by 10 inches in size. Looking at the western addition to the house that the local historian had suggested was the old schoolhouse, it was clear that could not be it. That room is nowhere near 36 by 20. I measured the rooms at the ancient core of the house, still not finding any place that was 36 feet by 20 feet. It seemed there was no room in the house that size, and the puzzle remained unsolved. How could this local lore not be true? Could it be that the sale of the schoolhouse to the Lynch family was just a legend and it didn't really happen? After several months of puzzling over this dilemma, I was pulling something out of the downstairs bathroom closet when it hit me. The corner of the old schoolhouse was sticking out right at the place where the ancient core of the house met the western addition. And this is the part of the house where you can see the 3 buildings coming together. The cedar from the ancient core, the heart pine from the Burwell School itself, and then cedar again from the western addition. But how could this be the corner of the schoolhouse when the room on the other side was only 18 feet wide? The answer was revealed when I measured the 2 rooms together. 36 by 20, exactly. The realization that I had found the old structure of the schoolhouse led me to contact the North Carolina State Historic Preservation Office. Mitch Wilds from that office came out to inspect the house. As historical preservationists are wont to do, this inspection began under the house and ended up in the attic. Under the house, we discovered a single structure, 36 by 20, with floor joists of a roughly uniform size from one end of the house to the other. The joists themselves were cut to a true 3 by 6, a dimension used in the 1840s. The clincher for their dating, however, was the circular saw marks along the entirety of each floor joist, which indicated the wood had been sawn by the kind of circular saw in use at that time and used rough without additional finishing. Straight out of 1840, no doubt about it. The next piece of evidence came from the windows upstairs in the back of the house. The second piece of evidence is in this window right here. These windows were converted to farmhouse windows in the 1920s renovation that made the house look the way that it looks today. As you can see in this particular pane, there's a circular pattern inside the glass itself. This shows that it was made before 1890. So that plus the size of the pane, 12 inches by 10 inches, indicates that these are part of the original female schoolhouse at the Burwell School. And the last piece of evidence clicked into place just last week. While preparing for this video, I read again that heart pine shingles were used on the roof of the schoolhouse. That reminded me to look again at the front of the house, and I noticed that cedar shake shingles sit right next to the heart pine shingles right here at the front door. So the mystery of Mr. Burwell's schoolhouse was solved, and the connection between the Daisy Lynch House and the Burwell School emerged from local legend to become historical fact. But the history of the ancient core still needs to be written by the next steward of this house. Perhaps you will be the one to uncover the deeper mysteries of this old Hillsborough house and the descendants of colonial silversmith Lemuel Lynch.